All right, so is this thing worth $700? Stick around and we'll find out. So looking at Klim.com, currently I'm showing this helmet sitting at $749.99. So tax and all, you're looking definitely in the $800 range. $749.99. Also currently out of stock. So if you're trying to buy it, that's another issue that I ran into. It's a hand-laid carbon fiber, so maybe that's part of the reason, but something else to think about when shopping for helmets. I know when I was looking at the Arai, which is pretty comparable to this helmet, it was in stock everywhere. So is that because the Arai isn't as popular, or is that because Arai just manufactures more of them? You know, to each their own on that. I don't think that speaks to which helmet is better, but something to think about if you're on the fence. You can probably get the Arai quicker. If you're looking at this helmet, you probably definitely like the way it looks. That's the first draw to it. Klim quality, at least you hear about it. I don't want to say unmatched, but you definitely get what you pay for, in my opinion. I also really wanted a carbon fiber helmet. Once you go to a carbon fiber helmet, you're not going to go to another helmet. Carbon fiber is just the way to go. It's better on your neck. It's lighter, which I have a little weight added to it because I've got the Senna on here, which, since I mentioned the Senna, it does not have cutouts for the speakers. However, the way the helmet fits, at least for me and my giant ears I have, the speakers do not interfere. I've worn this helmet for a decent bit now, well over a year at this point, and never had a problem with the speakers sticking out or rubbing its ears or hurting anything. I like the peak a little better on this helmet. I had an HJC helmet before this with the peak. Peak on the HJC is a little shorter, and the peak is a little more flimsy on that helmet. So it actually, I don't want to say caught wind, but it would vibrate against the helmet, and you'd get this little buzzing sound from the peak kind of vibrating against the helmet. This one does not do that. I commute, not daily, but quite frequently, well over an hour, mostly interstate, around 70 miles an hour, probably average, with this helmet all the time. Does not catch wind, does not have the vibrating sound. One of the other features of this helmet that I think is probably one of my favorite features is the transitions visor. The Pro model comes with it. I don't think the regular Krios comes with it, but the Pro does. Yes, you can get a transitions for other helmets, so if you just want to buy a visor for your current helmet, go transition. Smoked during the day, and then at night it switches to clear, or it's pretty quick, so if I go into a parking garage, it'll actually lighten up fairly quick, so you're not having to raise your visor if you go into a dark area. Now, it doesn't go so quick that if you're going through a short tunnel that it would go clear, and then you'd have to have it adjust back, but I've noticed going through parking garages where I'm going a little slower, it will lighten up before I make it to my parking spot. One other main feature to note is the quick release buckles. If I can do it on the camera, it is a magnetic buckle system, so it just click together, and you pull this release and it comes apart. There you go, you hear it click, it goes back together. It's super fast, honestly, super convenient. You can do it with gloves on, which is a huge plus. The interior of the helmet has the green mesh. Ignore my sweat in this helmet, I need to wash it again. But it's got the green kind of honeycombed, whatever, gel interior. Supposed to be more impact absorbing, safer for on the road. Of course, that's a huge plus. This one is ECE and DOT rated, for those of you who that's important for. I don't even know if it focused on that, but yeah, ECE and DOT rated, which is pretty nice. Ventilation is pretty good in this helmet, even though I primarily ride with this bike, which the touring screen blocks some of the wind that I would get through the chin bar. Not enough that it's a problem, but without it, you get a ton of airflow without the windscreen. But with it, through the top vent, you get enough airflow that you can actually feel it through the honeycomb interior. You can feel the air hitting the top of your head. So in the winter, you want to close that vent for sure. It also came with a pin lock with the helmet. I actually bought another pin lock before. I think when I ordered it, I bought a pin lock separately because I didn't realize, maybe I didn't read it. I didn't realize the pin lock was going to come with it, so I actually have a backup. I recommend having a backup pin lock anyway. They're not that expensive. But the pin lock obviously helps with fogging in the winter and all that. But it fits the helmet really well. But yeah, that's kind of a short and to the point review of this helmet, crazy comfortable. You can wear it on trips for hours or for days, and it's not gonna put a strain on your neck. It's not gonna get uncomfortable at any point. It breathes well, it handles rain. Hopefully it doesn't fall. It handles rain, it doesn't really seem to leak. I've ridden in several hours of rain, no leaks. The peak does come off. If you don't like the peak, you just want a standard helmet, you can take the peak off. Another thing I kind of forgot to mention, goggles. If you're riding off-road and you want to run goggles, you can actually run goggles without taking the visor off. You just lift the visor up, the goggles fit on, and actually if you're going on stints, I noticed if I had to jump on the highway to go to another stint, or on the road to go to another stint of like Forest Road or something, you can actually still close the visor with the goggles on. So if you need to close the visor, you don't have to take your goggles off, close your visor, whatever. You can literally flip the visor down, ride whatever section you need to have the visor, flip it back up, you still got your goggles on, you're good to go. So there's not really switching there. I think that's something I haven't really seen anyone mention in a review, but it does fit. I've tried a couple pairs of goggles. It will close with all of them. I'm sure there's some pair out there that it won't work with, but the several pairs that I've tried, it does. I think it works perfectly. It's actually super convenient. Is it worth $750 or $800? My answer, yes. Do you need an $800 helmet to do adventure riding and have a decent helmet? No. I took several trips with the HJC, didn't have any trouble with it. I will say, going from that helmet to this one, I don't know that I would want to go back, because the other helmet's definitely heavier. But you know, it's all in what is in your budget. If you're looking for a higher end helmet, something that's, you know, gonna have all the bells and whistles and be the fancy light helmet, I recommend looking at the Klim. Carbon fiber, honestly, carbon fiber helmets are where it's at. Whether it be this one or another one, you're gonna wanna go carbon fiber, and if you do, you won't wanna trade it. So I hope you liked the video. If you have any questions, comment below, I'll be happy to answer. And until next time, this is Thanks Adventures.